This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Clueless Trading Frank, and please 1 second. Turn the volume up. Test, test. I'll start again. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Clueless Trading Frank. It is approximately 8:42 p.m. on a pretty momentous evening on Sunday, February 5th, 2020. And I'll give you a quick tidbit on 2020 that one of the tellers at Quick Check or 7-Eleven, can't remember, on the convenience store, in the convenience store, told me about how to write the dates when it comes to 2020. It's very interesting. I found it to be amazing, and I said, you know what? You should be studying, getting a undergrad degree instead of dropping out of high school, which he did, and you're going to be smart as a whip, and you're going to get hired by Google or some of the great companies, American companies, and you're going to make a lot of money. Because what he told me was very, very, important. So I'll tell you that in tidbit in a second. On that note, welcome to the Sunday Strategic Webinar. The topic is the fog of war. Okay, and the session will be recorded, uploaded to the Google YouTube channel for viewing by all members, free trial subscribers, anyone out there with the internet connection. We have many other people who listen, and some of them join, some of them don't, and the ones who don't join keep on losing money. That's their problem, not mine. And that's it. Quick reminder, like I always do, multiple options charts, which I've been really busy with some family issues as well as the work schedule, that I haven't had a chance to post some of the amazing options charts on multiple trades, real trades that we do in real time, swing and day trades. So please follow us on Instagram. I know many of you do, but a lot of you need to do it. Just click follow. That's it. Get to see things that you might have participated in or might not, and it will invigorate you, because option charts are the sexiest and the wildest things you will see. Stock charts are fun. Oh, stock's up 7, great. Oh, as traders, we're like, okay, what's more? But options charts, actual options charts that I put out there on the Instagram account, Clueless Trading, on Instagram, the fastest growing social media platform in the universe, okay, that I put out there, Clueless Trading on Instagram. The options charts that I put out there, I'm going to keep on repeating it, are amazing, because those are real trades. Except you never really see when Google goes from 6 to 20, or Facebook goes from 3 to 9, or Apple calls go from 2 to 12, on a swing trade, of course, not 2 to 12 in one day, but 2 to 6 in one day, for example. You don't get to see it in visual format unless you follow Clueless Trading on Instagram. So please do that for your own benefit, not mine. I'm just a content provider. I'm on those trades. But even if you miss the trades, that will psychosomatic, right? Brain to body, will invigorate you as a trader, as an investor, to say, wow, and then act on the next trade. Very simple. Okay, on that note, we have Paul from the wilderness up in Canada, in Calgary, I believe. Paul, are you connected?
Hi, Frank.
Hey, there you go. And welcome. Always great to hear your voice joining us. So let's get into it. Number one, this is a very tricky time for the markets. But then when is it not been a tricky time? I have a great member who and a friend who, when they see futures down or up a lot, he or she says, wow, it's going to be a fun day tomorrow. It's a fun day every day, okay? Because in the world of trading and investing, volatility is omnipresent. It is there to stay. And anybody who's married knows what it's all about. Volatility, whether it's emotional volatility, whether it's tactical stock market volatility, it's always there. Does it make us feel good? No. Should it completely demolish you as a trader, as an investor? No. So we are in a very volatile time at this point. Tell me one day that there was no volatility. Even when the markets are ramping up 200-300 points and people were sitting on the sidelines doing nothing, tell me there was no volatility. Tell me there's no volatility in the first hour of trading that the markets open up. So all the garbage that you all hear from the so-called gurus, well, great gurus on StockTwits, on other mediums, on CNBC, on whatever, okay, who are spewing out all the great stuff. And they're all good people, mind you. All great Americans, okay? And telling us that there is no volatility are all talking garbage. There is volatility every single point in the market. In a bull market, there is more volatility. And that's the reason why most traders sit around and make nothing. In fact, in a bear market or tactical pullbacks on a bull market is where you actually get most of the excitement and the chance to buy things cheaper. That's the reason for tactical charts. Look, I am not the smartest guy in the world. I'm certainly not. When it comes to markets, I'm very smart. I live and breathe it. Okay? All of you have professions, careers, and you guys are very good at what you do, I'm sure. And some of you are maybe not, I don't know. So bottom line is that I know how to structure charts. Now charts, and I want to warn everybody about this, technical charts are not going to save you, because you're, as traders, as human traders, we are all, especially you guys, are always looking for definitive answers, a yes or a no. I get multiple direct messages, text from some members, or a chat room question saying, hey, where do you think this is going to go? Well, I can tell you where it's going to go, but in between, this is what it's going to do. And I've proven that multiple times. I have nothing to prove. Frank Clueless Trading has nothing to prove. Have I been right on every 15-minute move on the market? No. Have I been overall correct on a 1 hour, daily, weekly, yearly basis on the market? Absolutely yes. Money. So the problem that we all have, including myself, mine less, more yours, is that you guys need to mentally and from a trading standpoint know how to position manage. You need to position manage your mind, called mental calibration, and you need to position manage your trades. That doesn't come naturally. It is a learned profession. It is a craft and skill that is never complete. You keep on working on it. I still have problems on selling things. You know what my biggest problem is? What is my biggest problem? Can somebody tell me when it comes to putting out my precision charts and my trade alerts? What is my biggest problem? Dominic.
I don't know.
You don't know. Okay, fine. At least that's an answer. Michael Harrington, what is my biggest problem? When I'm in a tactical trade, I'm dead right on it, going nuts. What is my biggest problem? From a
You
position
only have
standpoint.
2 hands
I'm sorry,
to
what was that,
transmit
sir?
that information.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Can you repeat that so everyone can hear you?
You only have 2 hands to transmit the information. You don't have 6 hands.
No, that's not correct. Paul, I think, knows the answer. What is my biggest problem?
You sell too soon.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, Paul, you freaking Paul, you're my freaking alter ego. I sell too soon because I might have a bigger position. To me, in these wild moving $15, $20, $30 stocks that I've given you guys in handfuls. If I have anything more than 6, 8 contracts on like pricey calls, I sell too early. And then I maybe leave a little, but in general, I'm like, wow, I'm up that much. Let me sell too early. Thank you, not for me, for everybody else to know that. When I have 1 or 2 contracts on something, I'm sitting on those biotech stocks, and I have a basket of it, I don't care. I have 10, I have 8, 4, 8, 10 contracts on an Amazon, on a Tesla, on a Netflix, on a Facebook's cheap, so it's fine. On an Apple, that's pretty cheap. On a ServiceNow or a Trade Desk or a CMG, which are pricey calls, I sell too early. And then I'm like, why the heck didn't I leave that alone? And then, okay, I jump in and then I say, okay, move the strikes up. Thank you very much. I think I should end the session right now because Paul just answered the biggest disease that we all human traders have. Thank you. And can somebody, and I want you guys to think, like, you know, the more you open your mind, I don't care if you're 70, I don't care if you're 50, I don't care if you're 15, if you're 20. I do care if you're 5, then you shouldn't be on my service, actually. There's a law against, like, you know, teaching trading to minors. But can somebody tell me from a psychological basis why we do that? And what's the emotional term for that? Think and answer, because the more you think, the better trader you will be.
Fear.
Yes, fear, and the fact that we have something which I did a whole webinar on, which is called recency bias. You guys remember that? Like, we are more concerned with what money we have in hand right now than what money we will have 3 weeks from now or 3 months from now. Everyone remember the recency bias webinar?
I do.
If you don't, then everyone else who's going to be listening to this webinar later, please listen to it, because these are the psychological factors that keep our P&Ls down. You making less. Remember, making less is same thing as losing money. When the markets are futures are down 16. Okay, are we in a bull market? Of course we're in a bull market. And we're going to talk about the political issues that are going on. I don't want to get too deep into that because I'm not sitting in the White House right now in the strategy room, even though I have pretty deep knowledge about what's going on. So the less we make in P&L, forget about losing money. If let's say, for example, you could have made $1,000 on a small trade, which I've given tons of them. Instead, you make 200. Yes, it's fine. You made 200. At least you were in the trade. But that is a loss of $800 because you could have held it, not necessarily the top, but you could have held it a little bit longer. Oops, sorry. And made $800. Do you guys understand that concept?
Absolutely.
Exactly. Exactly. What you don't make is what you lose. I have not made what I should be making, given the fact that I've been dead right on the markets and dead right on, I would say, 80% of the recommendations that I've given or more. Especially the swing recommendations, I'm right 90% of the time. On the earnings, ER trades, I'm right maybe 60, 70% of the time. And those are big moves. This is the part that we all have to understand. It is not the content that's delivered. There's nothing wrong with the content. I'm with you guys, thick or thin, in the midst of everything that happened on Friday, everything that happened since we took out the, excuse my French if I say it, the asshole, okay, Soleimani. Nobody even knew who the guy was. I knew about him because of my readings and stuff. He was the worst. He was like, he's somebody who should be an American, should have been born in America, or at least an American, because he was smart. He was very smart, a strategist. But he was doing the bidding of the mullahs, which is the Saudis hated him. Why? Because the Saudis hate the Iranians. You guys know that. Okay, that's the reason why we're allied with Saudi Arabia, even though all the 9/11 attackers came from Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is, in my belief, is kind of changing, but they're still fundamentalist Muslims, which I don't like. I don't like anything fundamentalist. I don't like fundamentalist Christians. I don't like fundamentalist Muslims. I don't like fundamentalist Jews. I don't really like anything that's extreme. But fundamentalist Muslims are dangerous stuff, and believe me, I know. Okay, because it's mixed in with political fervor. Anything extreme, I don't like. Extreme volatility, I hate. Mild volatility, I like. And I think all of you would agree with me on that. Anything extreme, we don't like. That's it. Don't want to get into it too much because I might offend some people. So saying all that, and I personally, I don't care. So bottom line is that the 800 that you didn't make is your loss. And Paul just nailed it. Jesse Livermore. Wow. So which part is, okay, Paul said something, and I'm going to read it for you guys. And Paul is a great member, joined us a few months ago. I'm going to read it to you guys. Okay. This is from Paul, who is a great member of ours, very active on Stock Twits, like your stuff on Stock Twits, great, and always gives great shout outs for Real Estate Trading, not because I pay him. It's, he likes my mental thoughts, he likes my charts, he does his own thing, Paul does, and that's what I want all my members to do. I am just a messenger of tactical trading, and the mission statement at Real Estate Trading is non-emotional and non-emotional trading. Okay, trying to take the emotional element out. So here is where we are. So Paul says, and I'm going to read it. I'm a pretty good reader. You know, a good friend of mine that I'm not going to name, I was actually read the 2 Corinthians at his wedding, and that was good. So I'm going to read it the right way. So Paul says, one of our esteemed members, thank you. And he's quoting Jesse Livermore, one of the greatest investors of American history. Anyone who doesn't know who Jesse Livermore is, please Google it. I'm not going to get into that. It was never my thinking that made the big money for me. It was always my sitting. Got that? Well, he's kind of right, kind of right. Sitting doesn't always make great money, but still, yeah, I know what he's saying. My sitting tight. It is no trick at all to be right on the market. I don't agree with that, okay? Even though Jesse Livermore made a lot of money and then he lost a lot of money too. So I'm just giving you the inside scoop, right? This is like a Netflix documentary, which I'm going to mention one tonight. And if you guys don't watch it by next week or by this week, you're going to lose it. Okay? I'm telling you, it's all about money laundering. I'm telling you, though, how the big money works. So there's no trick at all to be right on the market. I disagree. I think it's very important given this day and age. Jesse Livermore, Paul was 1900s, early 1900s. Paul?
Yeah, and he made a fortune shorting the market in the Great Depression.
Right, exactly. Just like our friend, I forget the name, the guy who made crap loads of money shorting the mortgage market in 2008, 2009. So but a different paradigm that he's talking about, but good. So he says, God, my sitting tight. It is no trick at all to be right on the market. I disagree with that. The markets are completely automated, and predictive analytics and all different structural charts can predict movements in the market. Why do I say that? Because I've done it for all of you guys, for myself. So let's move on. You always find lots of early bulls in bull markets and early bears in bear markets. I have known many men who were right at exactly the right time and began buying or selling stocks when prices were at the very level which should show the greatest profit. And their experience invariably matched mine. That is, they made no real money out of it. Men who can be both right and sit tight are uncommon. I totally agree with that. But saying all that, what I don't totally agree with is that you can predict the market. You can totally predict the market in this circumstance when in these automated markets, because we did not, Livermore didn't have the luxury. I'm trying to get this out. I'm telling you, the computer's being very sticky. Jesse Livermore never had the luxury of all the technology we have in our hands, and the service that I run, and the fact that I can make a profession on my own, sitting and staring at 14 screens and interpreting tactical data. He did not have that. He was tape reading. Okay, that's a different story. But great stuff. Thank you, Paul. So let's clean this out. Bottom line is, let's get into it. What are the risks in the market? Big time risk. We Iran situation. We took out my, you know, just quoting President Trump in my words, a really bad guy. He needs to be taken out. He got taken out. Question is the ramifications of that. Now, I believe that Secretary Pompeo, President Trump, and all our great military generals and advisors who are present in the Middle East. We have great Middle Eastern friends. We have the largest naval fleet in Qatar. Okay, some of you might not know that. We have the largest Air Force base in Incirlik in Turkey. Okay, that's a reason why President Trump is so friendly with Erdogan, who is a very tough dictator, but Turkey is a great economy and builds the, some of you might not know that, but has the fastest growing Trump branded hotels. If anyone's been to Turkey, it's a great place to visit. Lots of historical relics. Trump branded hotels and resorts coming out in Turkey. Great tourist destination. We have the biggest Air Force base there, Qatar. We have Dubai, great banking center. We have Saudi Arabia, one of our biggest allies, who are friendly with Israel, believe it or not, and they're hardcore fundamentalist Muslims. You know, think about that for a minute, all right? And President Trump had the best time when he was dancing with all the sheiks when he went to visit Saudi Arabia. They gave him a welcome like no. Remember that? I put it up there. I mean, it was the ultimate royal welcome that you could ever afford to a foreign leader. I mean, think about it. They had billboards on the highway. If anyone's been to the Middle East, everything is modern. Everything's so modern that our airports and our highways look like we live in the third world. Seriously, go visit there. Dubai, oh my God. You know, it's like out of control. It's like a Disney World. And people are nice. Except you can't drink outside. You can drink as much as you want, like in the hotels and stuff, but you know, you can't, you know. So anyway, I don't like drinking outside anyway, you know. So yeah, great places. So we have a lot of allies, okay? Just so you guys know. So and Dubai is a banking center. So they're clearing money for the Iranian billionaires, the mullahs. You think they're poor? Wake up, okay? So don't let their beards fool you. So the bottom line is they're worth billions and billions and trillions of dollars. That's the problem with Iran. The people are starving, and it's like Venezuela, you know. And then the mullahs and the compatriots running the show have billions of dollars. Hey, that's, you know, they are the ultimate like hardcore capitalists, I guess. So the bottom line is, Dubai is the controlling banking center, and they control, they clear all the funds and everything like that. And it's the ultimate pirate destination. Every single arms dealer who wants to cut $1 billion arms deal supplying to every other war in the world. Anyone ever seen the movie Dogs of War with Nicolas Cage? Anyone?
I have not.
Okay, do it, man. Do it tonight. Paul says you do pay me, but not directly. Hey, Paul, that's a great compliment. Appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Hot on Facebook, right on the markets, and Paul's very big on the markets and Facebook. Yeah, thank you for the compliment. Watch Dogs of War. by Nicolas Cage about about a guy, a fictional story, but a real facts about a guy who's a big shot multimillionaire in New York City, lives in Park Avenue, and in the meantime he's an arms dealer. That's what arms dealers are. They're like regular guys, except they, everyone thinks they have, somebody's got to sell arms. What are the biggest arms dealers in the world? Can somebody tell me who is the biggest arms dealer in the world?
The United States?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Harrington. We are the ultimate arms dealer in the world. We'll sell arms to anybody out there, from African mercenaries to anybody. Russia, China too. So yes, but individual arms dealers, we don't have many. Individual, like the individual multi-billionaire. Last time I checked, Warren Buffett wasn't selling, hardcore U.S. Weaponry to wars out there, because we have a conscience. But when it comes to the Russians, especially, and the Iranians, and you can Google all this stuff, okay? And the Armenians and the Azerbaijanis and these people. In fact, the biggest arms dealer in the world was a Russian Azerbaijani who the FBI finally caught a couple of years ago. Like you want, so watch Dogs of War, because it's actual kind of a documentary film. Like you call up and say, listen, I need 500, what are the tanks? I forget the models, M something, M20s or whatever. I know I'm wrong. Like delivered here to this in Congo, because they're like killing each other like no one's business, right? There's war everywhere. War is the ultimate machine. They're like, fine, give me 3 weeks. He airlifts all that crap from there. When Russia broke down, there was so much weaponry in left on the sands. The Russians and literally sold and made billions and billions, because they were just sitting there. The general was like, how much? We're going to sell it to you for 200,000. So the arms dealers go, okay, fine. And then they sell it for 200 million. 200,000 to 200 million. You do the math. This happens to this day. So forget about nation states, who are the biggest arms dealers, and that's fine with me. We're an industrial arms complex. Fine, man. Sell it to countries we like and people that we like. But individual arms dealers, so that's what happens. All right, so there you go. So saying all that, we have a serious situation with Iran. Futures are down 13. I think it's a no-brainer. Like that, nothing. What is going to happen tomorrow? I have no idea. I have no idea. I'm going to follow my charts. Okay. And the key is, hi, K-Bot, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. So I like that. Yeah, it's like I can hear you. It's like a reality show.
I'm driving, so.
Oh, I love that. Driving all the way. You're where in California?
No, Texas.
Oh, Texas. I forget. Anything west of west of Ohio is like California to me. I'm just kidding. Okay, that's great. Like everyone, that's K-Bot. Been with us for a while. Hits big shots on Tesla. Great Tesla trader. So welcome. So all right. So bottom line is, I have no idea what's going to happen. Okay. And I don't think any of you guys do either. So here are the things that I think about. I'm going to pull charts so people are not looking at staring at one screen. I do apologize. My computer's being very sticky right now, meaning I can't move things around. So this is your S&P chart since last Friday, since not last Thursday. Oh, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago. This is what it looks like. So get used to pattern recognition, right? We have a range. We have a range. This should be white. 1 second. I have like so many things going on in my head, guys. I wish I could explain to you everything, but this is what I'm trying to share. Bottom line is that Iran, in my opinion, is not going to take any really major action, not because they are really scared. Just so you understand cultures, Iranians are not scared of war. I'm talking about the Iranian mullahs and all that stuff. They fought a 9-year war with Iraq. There were more Iranians who died, and they didn't fight that war with Iraq. And Iraq at that time was our friend. Okay, that's why we didn't get involved in it. Iraq is the one that attacked Iran at that time. All right. And the only reason we attacked Iraq is because Saddam Hussein was changing colors. That's what superpowers do. You change friends, you don't listen to us, we take you out. That's it. Now, the reason why we're not going to get into a really prolonged war with Iran is because, very simple, they're not Iraq. These guys will fight to the point where a lot of our great kids who are out there are going to die. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. If Iran is worth getting into a prolonged Vietnam-style war, let the Arabs fight it. All the Gulf Arabs, okay, the Saudi Arabias of the world, let them fight it. Why should our boys die out there? Iran is right next to the Strait of Hormuz, which I put out there just so you guys are a little bit more educated. It's like the Panama Canal, except it's wider. To shut down the world's oil production, they can. Iran's very supplied. Can somebody tell me who supplies all the heavy-duty weaponry to Iran? We don't. Who does? Come on,
Russia?
guys. Yes,
Russia or
Russia.
China.
Thank you. Not really. Yeah, China partly. China supplies the nuclear bullshit. And Iranians are smart. Don't take it the wrong way. We have American Iranians who have built the NASA modules that are going to Mars. We have a Iranian, Iranian born. They all fled before the Shah fell. These are smart ones. Who is running, I can't even say his last name. The guy who used to run Expedia right now runs Uber. We have Iranian NASA scientists that you can Google who are working on projects to move to Mars. And we have the Iranian, anyone likes yogurt? I mean, he's not Iranian, actually. He's Turkish. Chobani. You know Chobani yogurts? That guy's also. There's lots of great Iranians. It's not the people, like I said. But we don't want it. Seriously, we don't. And President Trump knows it. He knows enough Iranians in New York and Los Angeles. You know what north of, let's see if anyone can guess this. What I'm putting the charts together. What's north of Los Angeles called? I mean, the nickname for it. Paul, okay, let me ask you this, Paul. Paul would know the answer. Paul, what's Vancouver nickname for Vancouver is? I'm not even Canadian, but I know.
I go there lots, but I don't know.
It's called Vancouver. You know that. Okay?
Mini
Yeah, and
mini
you
Hong
know
Kong.
it's Vancouver because when in the late 1990s, when the China took over, the British left Hong Kong and handed it over to China, all the rich billionaire Chinese left before that because they were scared that the communist government of China was going to take all their money. So they all moved to Vancouver before that. And Vancouver was decaying. And look what happened. They rebuilt it, and it's just like nuts. It's all billionaire Chinese. They're called
The most expensive real estate in Canada.
Forget about it. Exactly. A shack costs like $1 million. It's called Vancouver. So Los Angeles, the same crap happens. That's what happens in life. Money talks and shit walks. Before the Shah of Iran fell in 1979, when the U.S. deserted him, U.S. should never have deserted him. He was the best ally of the U.S. ever. But we deserted him, the Shah of Iran, because the mullahs took over, the fanatical mullahs. And we gave Iran to the mullahs. We did. Okay? Because we moved our support away. That's why President Trump is so great, because he rebuilt the establishment with the Middle Easterners who like us. It's not the cultures and not the religions. It's about they want loyalty. So President Trump gave loyalty to Saudi Arabia. And that's the reason why they love us so much. So when the Shah fell in 1979, in 1977 and 1978, teaching you guys some real facts here that you might not know by listening to garbage social media and other news channels you watch. What do you think the Iranians did? The once educated ones and stuff. They wanted to protect their wealth and their children and their families. They moved to Los Angeles, to London, and to New York with big loads of money. Big money. Los Angeles. What's the capital of Iran?
Tehran.
Yes. So I'm going to give you the hint. What's northern Los Angeles, where big money, Bijan, the perfume designer, all these guys, the guy, what's the competition to Barbie? Bratz, Bratz dolls. I have a son. I don't have a daughter. Bratz dolls, that's a multi-billion-dollar business. It's called Bratz or something, right? That was founded by an Iranian guy whose family came. I think he was one of the poor Iranians who came, and he built it into a multi-billion-dollar business. There are tons of stories like that. So you just said it, Tehran is the capital of Iran. What is north of Los Angeles called? Northern Los Angeles. Come on, guys. It's called Tehrangeles. How do I know all this crap? Because I had a couple of clients on Wall Street, big money. One of them actually sued me. I couldn't, of course I could believe it. I mean, I didn't know that much. I learned more from that lawsuit for nothing. Total scumbags. Most of them, no offense, men, total scumbags. Complete. They will screw you inside out. The ultimate businessmen in the world for a dime. But they're very smart. It's called Tehrangeles. So you think Trump doesn't know that? He's done business with the Iranians in the US like nobody's business. All right? They own a bunch of his properties from Florida, all that stuff. So President Trump knows, and I'm happy that he knows, because you have to know culture before you get into a war or anything else. We didn't know culture of Vietnam when we got into the war. That's why we got screwed. We got screwed. 58,000 of our young Americans died, and the repercussions of that still is to this day. That's the reason why I volunteer for war veterans here in New York on a group called Headstrong. You guys can look that up. All right, enough of that. So now you know the history. So what's going to happen tomorrow? I have no idea. Futures are down 14. This is what I'm looking at. This is a range from last Thursday, this past Thursday, Friday. This is where we are. The range on the top end is, and just to remind everyone who's going to listen to this, they must be thinking, whoa, this guy, what the thing he's doing? He's on Fox News or he's on CNN or he's trying to teach us. Well, I'm trying to teach you guys all this stuff so you understand what the heck's happening with the markets and what will happen. We call it predictive analytics. No other service does that. They're always after the fact. We are before the fact. The more you understand, and you don't need to understand fully. Let me do my job. You just try to understand my messaging and act on it. Because I've been dead right on so many things. That's why I have the confidence and the goal to say it. So that's the reason why I explain all those things. And this little bit of tidbit history is good for you because you'll understand what might happen, not happen. So when you go to bed, you're not going to, or the end of the day, not sell everything. And next morning, the futures open up 20 points, which has happened dozens of times. And you're like, oh, what the hell? And Paul said the ultimate thing. Paul said one thing. My biggest problem is sell too early. What is the biggest problem for all you guys? Most of you guys. You don't buy. Or if you buy, you don't buy enough position. Forget about selling early. You guys are always in bunkers and diapers and whatever you're doing. You don't even take some positions. And forget about position management. That takes time. Do the advanced coaching sessions. Talk to me directly on direct message on Twitter. You know how to reach me. I'm always responding. I always want to help. But I'm not some socialist who's just going to give you, free money, free suggestions, which I do most of the times, to be honest with you. But you need to work for it. Okay? This is America. You work for a living. You don't sit there saying, "Oh, I'm going to get more from a welfare check," instead of saying, "I'm going to work to make a good day's living." That's what we do here. All right, let's move on. So so basically, let's look at structure. We have a double bottom in play, was in place since Tuesday and Friday. There were some tactical trades we did during the day, great profits. There are many stocks out there that I've proposed, and please go through my Twitter feed on the biotech side and stuff, which have no bearing on what's happening with the Iran situation. The Iran thing is a serious situation. If we do get into a full-fledged war, to explain to you why we shouldn't, it's going to be our Middle East Vietnam. I'm telling you right now, they're not going to give up. They're not going to give up. There's a lot of stuff, our history that has happened with Iran. They took our hostages after the Shah fell because of grievances they had. And remember, nobody's right or wrong. They look at it from their end of what we did to Iran in the 1960s. I don't want to even get into that. Okay? And the Shah fell because of that. The mullahs aren't stupid. Trust me. They're supplied by Russia, Putin, who is the biggest weapon supplier to Russia. I mean, to Iran. You think they're going to cut it off right now? Even though Putin's great friends with Trump, with Donald? No, they won't. They want Middle East influence. They have it in Syria. The people, the government we don't like. Russia supplies them, keeps them in power. It's a very complex relationship. China is not necessarily a warmonger. They're economic warmongers, okay? But they are not there to devastate us militarily. Russia, in the long run, will, because they want predominance. They want to be the United States of America. And they won't. You know why? Because we are different. So you guys have to understand this crap, all right? But you guys won't. Some of you will, some of you won't. So bottom line is, this is serious. I don't know what's going to happen. I hope there's no full-fledged war, because they will hit our naval ships and they will cut out the Strait of Hormuz. They will hit naval bases and military installations, and we have many in the Middle East. And it's not going to be fun. Yes, we can bomb the crap out of Iran, but they're so close to all our installations and stuff. And then Iraq Parliament is now asking for U.S. troops to be expelled. President Trump just tweeted out that we will put and harm Iraq sanctions. You think if they really go for it, the sanctions will matter? You think sanctions really hurt countries? There are other powers that could supply them with everything we cut them off. China and Russia, the two other superpowers, will supply all those countries with everything they need. They'll buy all their oil. You think they care about sanctions? Wake up. We don't want all that stuff. And I believe President Trump knows that. So technically speaking, this is what I'm looking at. Is left 3,200. Okay, so 3,200 is only about nothing. That's only about 140 points lower from where we are. So we need to hold this range. If we break 3,200, I'm going to turn short-term bearish. All right, you know that from my charts. So we talked, I said before, okay, upper end of the range is, of course, the higher end of the range. Selective stocks will do different things. We have a couple of big things happening this week, you know, from my tweets and from your own information. We have the Consumer Electronics Show. We have the JP Morgan and other big investment bank healthcare conferences. There are going to be some big winners out of that. Healthcare, a bunch of these biotechs that we keep on pushing, and some of them, many of them have done very well, are going to jump like you wouldn't believe, because they will hold on their great discoveries and their clinical, preclinical or post-clinical information to be presented at those healthcare conferences that are coming up within the next 1 to 2 weeks. So from a market standpoint, we are looking at the upper end of the market at, let me see, 32.64. I'm just rounding off the numbers, and 32.07. So we are looking at 32.64, 32.07, 57. This is the trading range coming up within the next 48 hours. Write it down. I got to get that boogie board so I can write all these things down. The ones I used to. 48 hours, okay? Next 48 hours, Monday and Tuesday. We got a 57-point volatility range. What is that roughly in Dow Jones terms? If we take a factor of roughly 7, we're talking 400 points. Ladies and gentlemen, get prepared for a 400-point move on the markets within the range as specified on these structural charts. There is your trading range. This 400 points, I want to warn you guys, will rock the options market. Will rock it down and up. So, what is the trading strategy to minimize the volatility? Because none of us like the volatility. You have, number one, track the charts as much as you can. The 1 hour, this is the 15-minute. We're going to look at that 1 hour one. I am not going to be right every 15 minutes. I can certainly tell you what the ranges are, what the patterns are, and what might happen. In this type of circumstance, and the period that we're going into between now and I'm just going to look at 1 week out, okay? With all the news bombs that are going to hit based on what the mullahs are saying, what the tweets are coming out for President Trump, what bombs are dropping, hopefully not too many, whether any one of our naval fleets are going to get hit, whether Saudi Arabia is going to get involved. This is no longer the China trade war. That's all great news. They're coming on January 13th. What more could you ask for? Nobody believed it. It's happening. We said it was going to happen. Now it is all about the Middle East and Iran. You know, there's a joke. It says Iran means like I ran away. They used to say that about the IRA. Anyone remember the IRA, the Irish Republican Army? Right? When they fought the multi-decade war against the British occupation. Some of you Irish should know that. They used to say the same thing about the I ran away. Well, they didn't run away. The IRA hit back hard. Because Irish are strong. And they didn't like the British occupation. Right? Not taking any sides, but I'm just telling you, I'm from Boston, believe me. They sent enough armaments in small boats to Ireland like you couldn't even think of. All right? So Iran means I ran away. Iran's not running away, guys. These guys are serious shit. They're hardcore. They've been in wars. They know. So President Trump knows that. And our military leaders, more importantly, know that. Because those are the people who know. So I don't think Iran's going to take the big step because we'll hit them really hard. You think they're just going to run away and say, oh, I'm sorry. No, they were not going to do that. They're going to go nuts. So please, wake up and face reality. There's no running away here. So we don't want this type of thing. But, you know, let's see. So follow the charts. Charts cannot determine what's going to happen every 15 minutes. But these are good-looking charts. These are good-looking, and they actually make money. So if you're going to be a trader, I'm going to tell you the strategy we're going to follow. But this was your cup and handle. This is what happened after hours as the markets open, as we're down 15 points. And it doesn't look too bad. because we're still within, oh, this is the NASDAQ futures, which determines the fate of the Facebook, the Netflixes. Tesla, by the way, doesn't give a shit. Tesla just keeps on going higher. All right, you guys know that. All right, we've done very well on Tesla. It's still going higher. Tesla's going to 500. All right, so that's the ultimate like tech stock you should be looking at and trading. Chipotle doesn't care. It wants to go to 900. Nvidia going to 250. Ambarella going to 70. Couple of the bio stocks going to get blot out. Bluebird Bio, we did great on it, then it's moving sideways. It's going to go to 100. Humana keeps on going higher. Anthem, when it goes up, went down a little bit. And Anthem Health, ultimate health insurers, but the most modern health insurers from a technological standpoint, is going to go to 320. That's 24 points from here. United Health, slowly but surely going to creep up to 300 plus. They have nothing to do with Iran. And then the war stocks, which I mentioned to you. What is NOC that I mentioned? What's the name of NOC? What's NOC, guys? You guys are Americans, right?
Northrop Grumman.
Thank you. And then other people couldn't say that? Come on. What is LMT? What is LMT, guys? Come on.
Lockheed Martin.
Lockheed Martin.
Thank you. What is Boeing? Is Boeing all about 737s that every single bullshit analyst on Wall Street want to piss on? Seriously. What is Boeing? What is 40% of Boeing's business or 30% of Boeing's business aside from passenger planes? Come on,
Bombers.
defense systems, exactly, and space exploration, correct? Exactly. So immediate war stocks, and I said, but I was actually looking at Northrop Grumman before the Iran thing. I had no idea that we're going to take out that, a-hole, Soleimani. That was a really radical move. I got to say it, man. Yes. That was like, wow. Took him out right at the Baghdad airport. Like, whoa, this is, it's like one of my favorite shows. Like, it's like Ray Donovan, like showing up, my favorite show. I actually miss Ray Donovan. I'm going to watch it later, because of this webinar. Ray Donovan, the fixer, it's like taking out a bad guy in New York. So, seriously. So, they took him out. I mean, this is serious. It's like taking out our biggest CIA chief, one of our enemies to take it out. So how would we feel? Let me think about that for a minute. So, all right, Elementary. What's the other one? Let me look at my other list. 1 second. I'm looking at the screen, guys. You know why I love these webinars? Because I get to hear all of you speak, and I get to hear my brain actually work, like explaining things to people. I don't like explaining things to people. That's the reason why I show all these great charts and stuff. I want you guys to understand and do. I'm not a big write a long blog, explain to people. So in fact, you guys force me to explain to you guys about what's going on or my forecasts and stuff, and that makes me, I think, a little bit smarter. You understand what I'm saying? I think you guys do. So I'm just sharing it with you, inner secrets.
Like Raytheon.
What was that, Michael?
Raytheon.
Yeah, Raytheon. That's the other one I was.
Technologies.
That's
Like
Raytheon.
L3 something or other.
L3. That's the one I was thinking of. Raytheon I was thinking on, and LLL. What's the second one you mentioned?
United Technologies.
Yes, UTX. We used to trade that a while ago. The ones that I like the most, just so you know, of course, Boeing I like from a swing perspective. This. Why do I like these the most? Raytheon 2 is because the options move really fast. So I gave you those options on Northrop Grumman late in the picture because I had no idea. I looked at the chart. I'm like, wow, we'll look at the chart right now. And those options I gave to you guys at 3.5. They almost closed at 5. Boom! You just had a home run right there after I gave it to you guys on Friday. So if anyone who didn't buy it is being stupid, because war or no war, we are at some sort of war with Iran and defense, and they're going to bulk up our great armed forces. So get with it. All right. So when I said buy NOC, go look at LMT, look at NOC, buy it. Look, options were 3 and change. Told you guys to buy it. The January 17 380s. Don't go out February and stuff because it's not like by February, believe me, it's going to be like calm. Like, oh wow, look at the spring weather. You know, the lily blossoms are coming out, and the what's the one that comes out in DC and everyone goes to see them? The pink ones. Come on, the big flowers, you know, everyone loves it. Japanese, what?
Cherry blossoms?
It's some cherry blossom, but something else, yeah, that comes out. So by February, it's going to be like, oh, spring's coming. The whole thing is like, you don't play these stocks, play them short term. 2 weeks, maximum a month, all right? Because Iran might have an internal coup, for all we know. You don't think we're working on it? That's the best way to take those guys out, is to have some of their disgruntled generals and stuff who don't like the mullahs, take them out. That would be the best thing ever. Our markets will go up 1,000 points one day, and the global markets. So saying all that, these are the names. Follow them. Don't have to get married to them. Date them. They're very sexy right now. Date them. Okay. So there you go. Now, next, let's take a look. So this is so follow the technical charts. I don't want to get into it too much. You know, we will most probably test this, and on the S&P futures, let me pull up one of my charts to see where we stand. ES15 Iran, I named it ES15 Iran. Fibonacci levels, this is where we are right now. This is the island reversal down, because this is where we were hugging the 50 fib, and then tensions escalated. Thank God we didn't get into a full-fledged like bomb the crap out of them hitting us and our boys dying. Like, that's the last thing I want to deal with, honestly speaking. So, and I think all of you agree with me on that, is we had a beautiful inverse head and shoulder, which would have gone up like that if tension didn't escalate too much, which in my opinion, tension actually didn't escalate. Iran talked their bullshit. President Trump spoke very strongly, which he should. So there was really nothing that happened, but hey, global markets do what they do. So here we are with the island reversal down, and we are looking at 3207. call it 3200 on the S&P, and we shall see where we go. In the meantime, we are in a volatile stage. No question about it. Let's take a look at the 1 hour charts. Was that a 1 hour? No, that was a 15-minute. Let's take a look at the 1 hour charts. And I'm going to be living and breathing these charts. And then I'm going to give you a couple of pointers how you need to position manage. And then we're going to close the session. Where is my ES 1 hour? Isn't it lovely that we took out the Iranian terrorist general right when the markets hit new highs? Does anyone ever think about that? I was like, what? Does anyone ever think about the fact that the markets are totally rigged? The markets are totally rigged. We took, where is my ES 1 hour trading? We took the guy out right here. Right here. At pattern completion, Fibonacci, 100%. One is 100%. That is 78.6%. That is 61.8. 50 fib is what the major supports are. 23.6 are the rebound levels, right? And then it comes down, retests, it goes higher. Guys, everything is rigged. Mathematically, algorithmically, politically and militarily. All right? So don't ever doubt it. This is not random movements. Why the hell did we take him out at 8 p.m. on Thursday when at 6 p.m. on Thursday we hit highs on the market, looking fantastic towards a movement based on the charts of, if we didn't take out the Iranian general here at Baghdad airport, we would have gone up and gone towards at least 32.84, climbed up the slope, and possibly, given the great China trade news, President Trump is doing phenomenal with that stuff, right? We would have gone like this. We would have gone to extreme Fibonacci levels, which would be 32.98. I doubt that. I would say we would have hit 32.88. But no, the markets got bamboozled. The bulls got bamboozled at 8 p.m. on Thursday. 8. Ever understand the importance of the number 8, like Clueless 8 trading? Why is it 8 p.m. the news comes out? It's the infinite loop. There's something weird about it, okay? 8 could be very good, mostly very good, and 8 could be not good. All right? 8 p.m. Boom! We took out General Soleimani, the biggest war hero of Iran. And futures go boom! Retrace back to the 50, now here. Will most probably, should retest this and hold. Then we have this. And what is this pattern? If we have this, and guys, this is our predictive analytics, and I've been right on this stuff like a lot. No other service will give you this type of predictive analytics. They'll be like, oh, watch to see what happens. Yeah, right, dude. I'm going to watch to see what happens. By that time, the trade's over. Duh. And in the meantime, the bears are all out. Oh, President Trump doesn't know what he's doing. We're going to go to World War III. I already saw the World War III crap on Twitter, by the way. Some big shot said that. We are entering World War III. You're right. We're entering World War III. Okay, fine. Why don't you just, in that case, just go into a bunker. Don't come out. Take enough diapers and just like stay in the bunker. We're not going to World War III, okay? We're going into a volatility period. Who was the one who said we're going to World War III? It was some big shot. It just showed up on my, personal Twitter thing. I get a notification. What's you guys know Zero Hedge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Zero Hedge is the one. They're always propagating the doom of U.S. markets, everything. You know what I'm talking about, Paul, right? It was Paul who said that. Anyone else know Zero Hedge?
They're always short.
They're not just short. They're like, and these guys from New Jersey too. It's one Russian, one Slavic guy, and like one of my buddies knows them. Zero Hedge is all about like, the Federal Reserve. You know how many? Just go to Zero Hedge, or like from 2 years ago. Federal Reserve. That's it. Blowing up America. Okay. Let me have one more drink. These guys are like all about sensationalism, which is great. It makes them money. So Zero Hedge is the one who I think who's a World War III. That's it, starting.
Tabloids for stock market.
Complete tabloids for stock market. And they're smart guys. They know what they're doing. Remember, the biggest money is made in gloom and doom. Bullish prognosticators of the market or life don't necessarily make that much money. It's the gloom and doomsayers. Hello, you're investing in stocks. Have you ever thought about gold? Buy gold right now. I worked in the gold reserve, the gold depot for 30 years. And majority Americans and Canadians and the world, they're like, oh, yeah. That's it. We go there. Stock market's dangerous. Okay, fine. See you later. Everybody, fear sells. I could have made 10 times more money selling you guys fear than I could selling you hope. but I sell what I believe. Think. All of you are fearful. I am fearful, but I live with optimism. Many of you don't. And I'm pointing my fingers at all my screens. Most of you are so fucking shit scared, you don't even take half the trades, you don't make half the money, and then you make crap excuses to yourself, and you stay poor. Is that the way our country was built? You think I'm kidding around? I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I came from a good, middle-class medical family, not millions of dollars shoved down my throat. And most of you don't truly believe in US stock markets, like I said in my post, and most of you certainly don't believe in US exceptionalism. You like to wave a flag, go to a couple of rallies, scream and shout, scream at everybody else. The world's to blame. The world is not to blame. You are to blame. Enough of me just going off, all right? So bottom line is, this is what we would like to see. Is it going all the way up? I don't think it's going to happen right away. What I think is we're going to get stopped at the 50 fib again. And if we do have it, I think China news is amazing. January 13th, guys are coming. Great. Phase 2 is already in the works. And China's not going to cause problems. China's not going to cause problems with Iran. They're going to stay quiet. I hope Putin doesn't open his big mouth, honestly speaking. And I have a lot of serious, hardcore Russian friends. I don't know if any of you do, from Brooklyn, okay? Who know what the hell he's doing. They knew what the hell he was doing before the elections, after the election, all right? And he better stop arms supply off to Iran. And Iran will cower like a little sheep. Because without serious armament resupplies, a country can do nothing. Where the hell are they going to get armaments from? Zimbabwe? Canada? Congo? Couple of mercenaries selling a couple of old revolvers? No, they need the big, heavy-duty anti-ship missiles, Katyusha rockets, all that stuff. So Russia has to stop selling them arms. President Trump better get on the horn and tell Putin to stop doing that. And Iran's done. So that's it. And if we do not have a war over the next 48 to 72 hours, I expect the markets to rally up to about the 32.76 level, if not 32.88. You better be following these charts because that's the tactical level of trading. Now, the thing that I want to say, one is position size. I'm going to call it PS. Position size is smaller, obviously. Smaller. I'm just abbreviating this stuff. Number two, fast-moving stocks like Tesla, you gotta trade these babies, okay? These are monsters. You gotta trade them fast. So that means you have to be watching the screen. Or if you put out a position thing, don't put stops underneath. They're gonna take you out. Put out sell limits forward. So you buy the option at 2 or 4, okay? Unless something dramatic happens, which I'm going to inform you guys right away on real time, put out sells out at 6, at 8. Don't have to go too long. Average duration for options should be 1 to 3 weeks, going in the end of January. First 8 days of 5 to 8 days of trading business days is where the pension fund money comes in. I've talked about this before. So let's count it. Let's have a day count. We're talking about the first day of the year was the 1st. Thursday was the 2nd. Second day, Friday was the 3rd. The 4th day is Monday. The 5th day is the 7th, which is Tuesday. I would say by Wednesday, if we do get a bounce, sell and raise cash.
Hey,
Not
Frank, you
necessarily.
counted New Year's Day there.
Oh, I counted New Year's Day. Thank you for correcting me. I am so sorry. So let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I would say by the 10th, by this Friday, we should get this level because, the war's not breaking out, whatever. So we should hit that. If we retest that peak again, let's take down and raise enough cash. 13, the Chinese are coming. We already know the Chinese are coming. So what happens with markets, as in life? You buy the expectation, you sell the news. The guys arrive here, it's done. Nothing new to look for other than phase 2. That's down the road. Always remember, which somebody will fill me in because they already know, that we have major volatility the middle of the month. The middle of the month. So what's the major volatility middle of the month? Let's look at the dates. The middle of the month starts off from a trading perspective between the 13th and the 14th. So the week of 13th till the 17th is going to be heavily volatile, in my opinion, probably on the downside. Now, it also happens to be options expiration. So it doesn't mean that it's a guarantee. There's no guarantees. I believe January will end well, in my opinion, unless there are more black swans, a full-fledged war, which is going to dampen the market spirits short term. But that's what I'm looking at. So do follow the charts, and I'm going to be as busy as I have been, and keeping you guys totally posted on everything. 1 second. So I'm going to entertain 1 or 2 questions. Let's take a look at Northrop Grumman as we. Oh, this is what I want to show you guys. And now this is really interesting. All right. This is the picture of the NIMO. Can you guys hold on for 1 second? You guys are going to love this. Because if I'm right on this, which I have been before, you guys owe me at least 2 or 3 referrals each. So we need to grow our member base. We had a couple of people leave, which never bothers me. What do I care? I really don't. I feel sorry for them. Right when we were like 1,000 points lower, I'm like, why? And the guys didn't have any excuses. And I'm just like, man, you guys are so stupid. Like, what if I was really wrong? I mean, I've been dead right on things. And you guys are like, oh, I need a little break. I'm not trading right now. My dog, my grandma's sick. Okay, sorry, guys. No, I don't want to get there. Seriously, that's what happens with this. Thank God I'm not reliant on the subscription business. I'd be like, what? It's so stupid when people leave, especially when you're dead right. I know why they leave, because they did all the stupid things. They shorted the market when I tell them to buy it. They didn't take positions that I told them to buy, and then they got all angry and they're like, "Fine, I'm canceling." Like, oh, okay, bye-bye. See you later. What do I care? Just the way President Trump, I love that part of him. Okay, he's like, who the hell cares? You don't care. Just do your own thing. To me, trading is not just a profession. It puts food on my table for my family and for all my rescued pets. 6 of them. All right, they're expensive. They have health insurance. They have life insurance. No, really, of course, they have medical and health insurance. They're like our babies. So the fact is that I take this very seriously. Some of you, are trying to make some extra money. Great. You can even make extra money. Even if you make $100 extra money, that's $400 extra dollars. $100 a week. That would be really difficult with some of the trades that I do. You should be making a little bit more, even in between losses. Okay, so let's say you make $200 a week. That's $800 extra a month for paying 70 or 90 bucks for fees. So hold on for 1 second. I'm going to explain this to you guys. Just 1 quick second, please. And take a look at it. Some of you understand this chart, so take a look at it. Okay, guys, I'm back. You there? Is
I'm here.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So here is what we're looking at. This is it's called an IMO, which everyone knows, New York Stock Exchange McLaren Oscillator. I follow these. One of the things that I follow is, of course, the RSI. The RSI is okay. It's trending down a little bit. It hit the upper level, not close to 70. Anytime it gets towards the 70 level, and this is standard old-fashioned technical analysis, you generally tend to get a pullback. It doesn't mean the bull trend has stopped. It simply means that it's overbought, right? It's an overbought, oversold indicator. So saying all that, let me move this, get this cursor out. Okay, that's better. Okay, so you can see here it peaked. The RSI peaked at around 41. I did tell you guys, always buy the minus 41s, the minus 65. Buy it blind. Buy it blind. A couple of calls on the spies. This is general market we're talking about. So you got to buy it. Doesn't matter, because within 48 to 72 hours, once it reaches this extreme, forget 78. You want to buy huge, huge, and that's the scariest point to buy, by the way. Minus 52, minus 26 means it's kind of short-term oversold. Minus 59, forget it. Buy with hands down. Minus 41, definitely buy with both hands down. Once it gets towards these levels, and if you listen to my extra old webinars from the last 2 weeks or whatever, I did keep on stressing we are overbought, but doesn't mean anything's really changed. Apple still went up a gazillion points. Okay, Apple's bigger than most economies in the world. So bottom line is we hit that 22 level, and we were supposed to go up back towards 41, but then came the Iranian situation, right? So we pulled back. We're at 11.69 right now. You can see that they're right there, and so I try to see the range it's following. So somebody tell me the range. These are the Bollinger ranges. What's the range? I'm already pointing it out. Please, I want you guys to learn. It's all about understanding. What's the range? You can look at the screen. Come on,
52
guys.
to minus 7.
Thank you very much. Who was that, Paul? Paul, was that you?
Yes.
Okay. So no offense meant to anybody. You guys need to be faster with the answers, all right? This is not kindergarten class, but if you want to be an options trader, you should be able to see these things fast. So I'm not just, coddling Paul and saying that. I mean, I love smart members, so that's fine. And I like dumb members, and I like old members. But the point is, I'm just like Donald, okay? I'm just going to say it the way I see it. You guys need to think faster and quicker. So yes, I showed you the ball. I even gave you the hint. It wasn't an SAT question or a GMAT question, or a CFA question or a financial engineering question that my son has to sit on. I'd probably fail all his classes that he's graduating with A pluses and B minuses. I mean, come on, guys. 52-7-1. So saying all that, next question, and somebody else please answer. Please. So if that's the case, what's the lower end of the range that we can fall to based on futures down 15 and over the next 48 hours where it becomes, and it's not just this. The other hint I'm giving you is this, which is the full stochastics, the overbought, oversold. You buy oversold, you sell overbought. So where do we get fully oversold? Down here. So what does that mean? So where can we fall at the bottom of the Bollinger? It's already been answered, around 7. Okay, so I update this every night. I'm going to show it every night for the whole week because I don't get this real time. You can follow the McLaren Oscillator real time on Thinkorswim and stuff, but this is my proprietary indicator I've been following for many, 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 many years. So what I like the fact is, what is the Bollinger doing? Somebody please answer.
Going up.
Exactly. And the Bollinger up here is still kind of steady. That means we have what I call the dolphin formation. It looks like a dolphin. Okay? So dolphin formation means this is the range we are following, and this is the range we're at. So That means there is still downward pressure, short term, probably till tomorrow morning or afternoon. And if we start to see the Bollinger moving down like that, that means shit's going to hit the fan. That means we're going down below 3,200. Okay, very clear on that. All right, sounds good. Now, the other one that I like showing is the SPX 533. This is the NIMO. Let's take a look at the weekly. Oh, by that time, the stochastics are going to be very oversold. Once we hit the 7-8 level, remember, 0 is the baseline. This is S1, which is minus 29. Minus 29 means we're going to be down 400 points. And every one of you who knows friends who need to understand what the market is going to do, we tell you what it's going to do. Literally, I'm telling you what it's going to do. If we hit the support 1 at minus 29, that means the markets are going to be down 400 points. So moving on, let's take a look at the weekly, like a little bit of the longer term picture, not recency bias. Nothing is wrong with the weekly. Stochastics are still moving higher, MACD still moving higher, and this one is now hitting base level. So the weeklies are telling us we're okay for the week going into options expiration. And we are still hugging 50 on the RSI. Everyone with me on that?
With you.
Yep.
Okay, good. Any questions, please ask me. That's what I'm here for. So let's take a look at NOC. Like, hallelujah. So the skeptics and the people, rightfully so, says, Frank, you're such a friggin' genius. Why didn't you tell us to buy Northrop Grumman, which I was looking at the day before at 350. Why are you telling us to buy at 372 and it closed at 375? Okay, what's my answer? I'm just a weak little guy who's going to say, oh, I'm really sorry. No, I say, F you, you craphead. I didn't know we're going to take out the biggest frigging terrorist general in Iran. And I wasn't following Northrop Grumman because somebody had advanced news. That's the reason the day before the stock had spiked, and I noticed it because it was one of my alerts. And I said, wow, look at that. And yes, I did one thing wrong. I should have told you guys to buy the day before at the end of the day because I saw the stock up. You think people didn't know? You think the market is not manipulative? Of course somebody inside knew. That's why there was a bullish engulfing candle the day before, which was the 2nd of January, and 3rd of January is when, well, at 8 p.m. on the 2nd of January after the market closed, this opened up. So saying all that, my answer is, it doesn't matter that we weren't here. What matters are we in this candle? So any of you who didn't buy it, it's been really stupid. And I already gave you like 40% plus on the stock, by the time, doing it. Seriously. Because at this point, war or no war, we're in a full-scale technical war with Iran. And the Saudis who hate Iran are going to buy more arms, and our allies are going to be stocking up just in case Iran really goes nuts. And they have a very powerful army, thanks to the Russians and partly because of the Chinese. Chinese are more in the nuclear stuff, just as I said before. Okay? But the Russians are the biggest arms dealers for Iran. They propped up the mullahs for years and years. And they're supposedly our friends, the Russians. Oh, yeah, that's right. Think about that for a minute. All those arms that they supply to the Iranian mullahs and their militias, Al-Quds, that's their hardcore, war-beaten guys. That's the guy that we took out. He was the head of the militia division. Are trained by Russian advisors. my friends. Okay? Russian mercenaries are operating in Syria. And Iran is the biggest supporter of Syria. You think I don't have my grievances? Because our boys die because of Russian arms supplied to the worst mullahs in Iran? Think about that for a minute. Pisses the shit out of me. Okay? Seriously. So, I don't want to get too emotional. I get emotional about that stuff, but I'm sorry. So, what are we looking at? We're looking at 380. We're looking at 377. Stock closed at 375. I'll take every point I get out of Northrop Grumman at this point. And what is this number here? 1 second. Show price on the left. And we love that price, 383. I'll take it anytime. This is a bullish chart based on the current circumstances. Let's take a look at the other one that Mike mentioned, which is Raytheon. Raytheon is great, but not that great. It's like okay. Why? Because it's in a range bound. Can it break out of the range? Sure. We're looking at 122 and higher. Now, the reason why the options on Northrop Grumman move that fast instead of Raytheon is because of the implied volatility, the gamma, and basically that's why. Look at this chart versus this. Please focus, guys. So there's your daily on this. Studies, load study, OBV stocks. What's that? Which stock short term excites you guys more based on the candle structures and the upside movement? Which one just visually immediately attacks you guys? Quickly. Guys, quick. I need some responses.
NOC.
NOC. Okay, thank you. So let's take a look at LLL. No, what is it? Is it? Oh, the other one is Martin Marietta. This one also is kind of boring compared to this. I'm just comparing the charts. L3 is what? L3, one second, guys. L3 Harris is, what's the symbol? Such an idiot. LS, okay. L, because we don't trade these too often, that's why. This one, nice. Oops. Daily, I'm looking at the daily. 1 second. Okay, 1 second. Bongo. Does this both look good? Are we looking at 217? Yes. So L3 Harris, which is LHX, and NOC. Remember, you don't have to go like that diverse, whatever. Just stick to this. Are the ones we need to focus on. We're already in this, and we're going to look at this tomorrow. At least a retest of 217. Got 7 points in here. The problem is it might open up 7 points. NOC, in my opinion, probably is going to open up for $4 higher. So the few calls that we all bought, bingo. Bingo. Let's take a look at, throw me a stock, guys, so we can end this session. I know it's been long. It's covered a lot of stuff. And by the way, you don't need to listen to my stupid voice all through these webinars. For everyone else who's going to listen to it later, just fast forward. Use technologies. Move the arrow up. Said, okay, I already know about that crap about behavioral technology, behavioral finance and stuff. You know, most people think they know, but they have no idea because they're doing the same stupid things over and over again. But if you don't want to hear me try to train you guys on that, fine. Fast forward it. That's what I do with the
Hey, Frank.
videos that I listen to. Go ahead, sir.
Not a question on a particular stock, but I just wanted to get your thoughts on the Chinese deal on the 15th. Everyone's been really tight-lipped about what the actual details are going to be. Do you think
Yeah.
that's going to move the market, or is it going to be pretty much like it's pretty much what we expected and just be a
Okay,
non-event that way?
the market has discounted a good portion of the Chinese deal. That's the reason why we rallied so hard before the Iranian issue. Okay, that's why Alibaba, that I told you guys to buy way back, rallied like a monster. That's why NetEase went nuts. Okay, a lot of the Chinese deal is taken into account, but the skeptics who never think that these trade deals are ever going to be worth anything, that's not the issue. The trade deals mean a lot. What's more important that I put out there on the tweet, okay, is what are the Chinese doing internally to bolster their own economy, okay? And this is Alibaba. This is what I told you guys to buy it, okay? And this is Alibaba, and big range breakout. This stock is going to like literally go to 250. But Chinese are loosening their credit reserve ratios. For their central bank has loosened the reserve ratio. That means how much banks have to the deposit to loan ratio, which means they can loan out more and keeps less deposits. Chinese are look at the headlines. Okay, all through over the weekend, Chinese are helping smaller companies to build up. They have opened up to international banking firms like the JP Morgans of the world and such, that they can actually own Chinese finance companies without the jurisdiction and a local partner. They're doing a lot of big things underneath to bolster their economy. Chinese manufacturing data, the Caixin data and all that stuff is coming out positive. So that is more important than the trade deals. What President Trump has done is tremendous. Phase 1 deal, despite all the skeptic, is a great step forward. Phase 2 deal is going to be another great step forward. The Chinese are not backing up. Backing down. It took a lot of work, back and forth. So in my opinion, the Chinese deal is a big positive. What is a short-term negative is this crap that's happening right now, if that answers your question.
Great, thanks, Frank.
Okay. So any other stocks anyone wants to look at? Let me take a look at Facebook. I have a nice position. I know Paul is a big holder of Facebook for a long time. The stock's going to 220. That's it. There's nothing about it. It's going to go to 220. And short term, it's going to go to 215. Now, that's what I talk about trade management. There's nothing on the internals, nothing. And guess what? Facebook's not even in China. My son was 14 when he went and taught English and math in one of the poorest provinces in China. I know many of you know that because I started my service in 2014. He was like, he wanted to take a crap. The bathrooms even didn't work in that real huge school in central China near the Mongolian border. So he used to go out in the hills with 2 other kids from his Center for Talented Youth, which is a great program. If you have kids, send it to them. It's run by Johns Hopkins University. So my son was there. He met these kids, and they're like, "Hey, let's go to China." Like, my wife's like, "What?" I'm like, "Let him go." No Facebook. And he posted his stuff. How did he post his stuff from China? At 15, sitting out there in the middle of nowhere, in a school with 4,000 kids. And my son's, teaching them about American math and different stuff. And they had a documentary made on it. And anyone who's interested, I'll send it to them. Okay, documentary made on this, a famous Chinese documentarian. So how did he handle Facebook and post his pictures of him, in this school doing that? How, guys?
You
Somebody
can
answer.
do it with a VPN virtual private network.
Here comes Paul again with his, yes, he did it through the VPN. Okay? Yes, he did it through the VPN. So Facebook is not legally in China, but you can do it through VPN, and they're still posting and doing stuff. And Facebook is still making revenues of those things. Exactly. And China at one point is going to relax on the Facebook stuff. Why do countries ban Facebook because everyone can just share whatever they want. Right wing, left wing, middle wing, don't care. Extreme, whatever. That's what, open democracies do. Exactly. He used a VPN. And anyone know what a VPN is, or should Paul explain it to you guys? We live in 2020. Does anyone know what VPN is? Paul, don't say anything. Does anyone know what VPN is? Voice. Vera, Peter, and
I do not.
nobody? Okay, don't feel bad about it. Paul, go tell them what VPN is.
Yeah, basically you can change your IP from your Wi-Fi connection and appear as if you're from another part of the world, so you can bypass the great
You can basically
cyber wall of China.
you can mask your internet. You can buy VPNs here, so nobody knows where you're browsing. You might be looking at like Dogs Gone Wild, or your Girls Gone Wild, or Charts Gone Wild. Nobody's gonna know. It's called a virtual private network. Okay, VPNs have run for a long time. In fact, lots of people in America use VPNs because they don't want their browsing habits and their internet habits to be tracked. Okay, so there you go. So saying all that, Facebook's potential is enormous. And I gave you the example of my son, not because I think he's a great kid. I think he's a great kid. There are a lot of other great kids out there. It's because he was sitting there in the middle of nowhere for a month and a half before they traveled all through China. I learned a lot about culture. I didn't complain about anything at that time that was going on, even if he didn't like it. And he was using VPN to put all these things up and say, guys, look what I'm doing. All right. So there you go. So Facebook is, I can move this thing. 1 second. Let me move this. Upper Bollinger, as a trader, we're looking at 211.52. I'm looking at 220. Let's draw a line here. 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Paul's going to love this. Okay, it's beyond 220. Upward channel intact. Even though it might do this. Any other stock? Apple, that's like nuts, okay? I trade Apple in increments of $2 or $3. Google is exciting. I've shown you guys this chart many times before. I'm going to show it to you again. The problem is that the funds are getting in hard. So what does that make options? Can somebody tell me? What does it do for options prices?
Makes them expensive.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So being realistic, I hate paying $8, $9 for options, which are $10, $15 out. And if I go too short with the time frame to get the cheaper ones, I might get smashed. But the stock is destined right now for 1460. Iran or no Iran, 1429, 1387, lots of room. Look at the internal if you don't believe me. It is a massive W. So one of the things we might need to do, we should do, is not go nuts, but at the same time, we should buy some stuff depending, and I'm going to let you guys know, into March, because that's when we're going to, in my opinion, the market will really have a top end of the first quarter, which is March 31st. Look at these. We need to buy calls all the way up here. So saying all that, the last thing I'm going to say, which you guys already know, have I been recommending a lot of cheap calls like way out, like Tesla? I told you guys to buy the Tesla 500, correct?
Hey Frank, just on Google, can I suggest an idea I had for an option play?
Of course.
Yeah, I was just thinking like tactically, looking at the earnings calendar. We talk about FANG being part of Google, Microsoft in there. Netflix is reporting in the week of January 20th. All of the other FANGs are.
And just to remind everybody, Netflix is the first major tech company to always report early. Go ahead, please, Paul. This is important for everyone to hear.
Yeah, and then all of the other FANGs are reporting the following week of the 27th, except Google. They're actually the only one reporting the following week after that, early February. So
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking of buying some call options for the 31st of January, so not taking into consideration the Google ER premium that's going to be built into those, but basically it would be a play on all of the other FANGs.
Great. So you'd be looking at what strikes and what
Well, I was thinking
days.
to play it safe. I was thinking at the money call option expiring January 31st. So you'll have basically 6 major tech companies reporting, and I personally think we're going to be very good results there. Even if we got like 4 out of 6 home runs,
January
that's going
30,
to directly.
what strike prices would you consider?
Thinking at the money, I think it's only going to go up between now and the 31st. So
Okay, so if you say at the
yeah.
money, they're very expensive. Actually, they might not be expensive because let me check on it. I'm
Well, you
looking
buy
at
one
it on my.
option. Yeah, it
Yeah.
costs you
I mean,
like
with
two
Google,
thousand
it is
or
expensive. I've done it. Like I've
yeah,
just bought one option at times, but I'm looking at the prices on the other side because I try to accommodate all kinds of traders, right? So somebody
yeah,
might not have $2,000 just to put in one option, but I
yeah.
will give them an option to what options to buy. Let's put it this way. So this is a great idea, and I'll tell you also another trick that always happens as stocks move into major earnings season. And that is that as it's approaching the earnings date, the premiums tend to expand and the options prices go higher as we get a couple of days prior to earnings. The reason behind that is people get excited, right? So they start buying. So the
Yeah.
smart
Yeah.
ones buy weeks and weeks earlier, as Paul has mentioned, okay? And the stupid ones buy 2 days earlier. Or earnings players like us, sometimes we buy early, but we also take that gamble of buying that a week out right before option, what we call ER plays. So it's good to
Yeah, and
buy
Frank.
around this time because you have 20 plus days left. I'm looking at options
Hmm.
for
I'm,
those options premium. Now, one second. So
okay. Okay.
if we buy in the money right now, it is a $31.50 call for January 31st. That is prohibitively expensive for many people. Okay, that's like buying one call for $3,100. Now, what Paul is saying, and I'm going to explain this to people, is buying that it's like trading it like a stock. So if you buy a in the money 31 call, it is going to cost you $31.50. Somebody said, "Oh, what do you think? I'm going to pay that." Well, you don't think like that. The way you think is you're buying one share of his stock. That's the way you think. So if I told you to buy one share of a biotech stock at $31.50, would you buy it? I mean, would you guys buy it? Of course you would. You're like, shit, it's one share. I'll buy it. So think about it like that. Now, unless complete mayhem happens, that 31.50 will most probably go down to 28. Oh no, general volatility probably will be that tomorrow. Or maybe go to 25. You're like, okay, if you buy one share of a stock, this is very important from a mental standpoint. If you buy one share of a stock at $31 and it goes to 25, would you freak out completely? I'm just asking a general question to everybody. If you buy one share of a stock at $31.50 and it goes to $28 or 25, would you be like losing your head?
Nope.
Anyone else, please respond.
Not at all.
Right. But if you buy one option at $31.50 and it goes to 28 and it goes to 25, it feels a little freaky, doesn't it?
Yeah, it hurts a little bit.
Yeah. But one share, if you think about it as buying one share of a stock, it's like no big deal. What's the big deal? But if you buy one call and it goes to 25 or 28, it feels a little weird, doesn't it?
Yes.
It certainly does. I'm an options trader, I know. Okay, and if you buy two calls, it feels weirder. If you buy four calls, you're like, what? Okay, so point is that think about it like buying one share. When you buy in the money or deep in the money, like below the strike price, treat it like you're buying one share or something. Because when Google moves, as in my opinion it will, and as Paul has pointed out, it moves up here for all the levels that I showed, your calls are going to move dollar to a dollar and accelerate from 31.50. Yes, you're not going to make 300% on it unless it really blows out over 14.50, which it might. You'll be moving up like a stock. It'll go to 35, it'll go to 40. Does everyone understand that?
I do.
It's slow and steady. So Paul, what were you saying?
I was just going to say, I could see fear of missing out, FOMO, really kicking when people look back and see all the good earnings, which I think will happen with FANG and all the tech stocks, and then they'll see Google as their last chance to participate.
A good point, but Google is not the last chance to participate. The ultimate stock, two stocks that I'm going to end this session with is Facebook. Okay, Facebook is going, let's take a look at the weekly. Facebook's high is
And sorry, Frank, I was just mentioning that Google's going to report the week after Facebook.
okay. Oh, okay. So look at the structural chart drawn. A stock that has Google's making 52-week highs. Okay, it's making new highs, which is great from a momentum standpoint. But every time the market dips a little bit, boom, it takes a bigger hit. Everyone agree with me on that? So what about looking at stocks which are far away from the 52-week highs? In this case, not far away, but it's a good 10 points, right? Anybody could see like this one on a weekly basis is going to go to 220. 219 is the previous high. That's Facebook. All right, that's number one. What's the one I am super excited about? Super excited. NVIDIA. The guys are presenting at CES. The guys are the leaders of, we have the China trade deal. 70% of the sales come from China. AMD is another one, which is a non-stop monster. And it's making new highs. But I love stocks like this. Like, whoa. It's like dating somebody and like, wow, you have such great potential. After the third date, you're like, wow. You're thinking like, wow, I'm going to marry this woman. Okay? Or man or whatever you want to marry. So the fact is, I'm a New Yorker. Now I can say these things. So the fact is, I like stocks like this, which can go well past 300 higher. That is our range breakout special. NVIDIA. End of story. Guys, thank you for a great evening. You made my brain wake up. It's going to be tricky. I'll do my best. Only thing I want from you guys, very simple. Focus, act, always have a position or two. And most importantly, let's grow the community. Organic marketing. Get referrals. Tell your friends. Tell them to listen to these videos. If they like what they hear, which they should, because it's straightforward, no complex stuff, but lots of great information, both mental, political, and technical. Get some referrals. Have a great evening. Let's make this week happen, guys. Like I said, prepare for volatility, but we're going to be A-okay. And biotech buyouts, we're going to get a bunch of them. And a list is already out there. I've mentioned a bunch of them, which I think are going to happen. And let's have one or two out, taken out at 70% premiums like we had a few of them in the past couple of months. On that note, God bless you all. Thank you for attending.